back to the Free Speed Podcast, your go-to podcast for navigating fitness and life with purpose. I'm your host, Tash.
And I'm Cal.
And today we have a marathon debrief episode for you guys. It is August 8th. It's a Friday night. We ran our first marathon on Sunday, August 3rd.
Yes, August 3rd. You gotta put that up in the rafters.
A what?
Put it up in the It's like when you win like a banner, you put it up in the rafters and you like put the date.
But yeah, so we ran the Sunshine Coast Marathon on Sunday, and we thought we'd do a little debrief episode for you guys because we just uploaded an episode last week of our race plan and how everything went. And yeah, this is gonna be just kind of explaining our whole experience. So, how did the race go for you, Cal?
You know, when I was going into the marathon, I had envisioned how I wanted the race to go, the weekend to go. And I think it met every single expectation, which was a very high expectation. And I think that's like the best way to describe how awesome the marathon experience was because a lot of times you have to fail to learn, but I felt like I didn't need to fail. I felt prepared. I felt the training leading up to it, even though it wasn't as ideal, even though I had some calf issues leading into the race. My mind was rock solid. The weather was perfect, and I was just excited to just be there and see where my fitness was at. And I said that on the last episode, and I really, truly believe that's what carried me through those dark and hard kilometers. What point of the race do you think you started to feel like there was a switch, maybe?
Well, let's kind of touch on that like in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted to go through like the whole weekend.
Start to finish.
Not like start to finish, but just like what we did to prepare, what actually happened, what we ate, and yeah, everything kind of as it goes on.
Yeah.
So Saturday morning we drove down to the Sunshine Coast, which was what, a 2.5 hour drive?
3. Almost took 3.
Almost took 3 hours of sitting in a car with tight hips, which was not ideal, but we did a little shakeout run when we got there. We picked up our bibs. That was fun. Beautiful day, even the day before the marathon. So that's why we were like hoping that the rain would hold off for the next day. And then we got back to our Airbnb and we did a shakeout run, right?
Yeah.
I did a 3-kilometer shakeout run. I didn't feel like I needed to do 5. Everyone who says, oh, you have to do a 5K shakeout run the day before your race, like, that's a whole load of bullshit, and you probably don't have to if you don't want to. Like, just listen to your body. Obviously, get moving. Don't be, like, sedentary for, like, the few days leading up to your marathon. But I know my body, and if I would have ran a 5K, I would have been a little bit tired for the next day. So I decided just to do a light, like, 20-minute jog, and that was enough for me. What did you do?
Yeah, I just did 5K. I think that's exactly the most important thing is like when you keep it light, when you keep it loose, then you still need to be excited. Every training session in the taper week should feel like you're just fucking itching to just race, even when you finish it. And I think that's exactly how I felt. And yeah, I thought being in a house with 6 others was going to be more challenging and more difficult. But something about just the environment when everybody's kind of on the same page and they're all focused, understanding that like you're there to race. I thought that was a good environment. So we all ended up eating kind of different dinners. Tash ate pasta. I ate burgers, which you made fun of me for, burgers and rice. And there were 6 of us, every one of us had a different variation, but that was the key to whatever race we were doing and the amount of food we needed.
Yeah, just eat what you would normally eat and eat something that would make you feel good. Like, you definitely do not want to go and eat out the day before your marathon.
Mhm.
Even if you're traveling, like, that it's just not ideal. Definitely try to eat something that's like not spicy, like won't mess your stomach up, isn't heavy, isn't fried. Just something that will be nice and obviously lots of carbs, but easy on your stomach. So I just made some pasta and meatballs, like with ground beef, and that sat really well with me.
And we had planned to make sure that when we ate, it wasn't too late, so
Yeah.
that in the morning when we
We'd
ate
be
that
hungry.
breakfast, there was just this strategic timing that the calories and the carbs in the morning were going to probably pay more of a dividend when we were in the race than the ones we had eaten like 14 and 15 hours before. Even though you're obviously carb loading in a sense, like you're in that surplus building those glycogen stores. But yeah, that was exactly how I was feeling. It's just like eating the foods that I know are going to be like my diesel fuel,
Yep.
my jet fuel. And that kind of led us into, you hit recovery boots the night before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because I had access to
Mhm.
them and I thought it wouldn't hurt. Just help with like blood flow and everything. So I did that, and we got to bed pretty early. It was a challenge for me to go to bed earlier than like 10 p.m., but I tried my best, and we made sure to drink lots of water, stay hydrated, took some rise electrolytes the night before and the morning of. And then yeah, we went to bed. Woke up at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, and that's when I know it's going to be a good day. Is when I wake up, if it's a race day and I'm like, I wake up and I'm just like a little nervous and I'm excited, that's when I know it's going to be a good race. If I wake up and it's not, and I'm like, just like, oh, like, and you just don't have any motivation, that is the number one sign. I think you're overtraining and you're overcooked. And that is the one thing I didn't want going into this race, was to feel just drained from all the weeks of training leading into it. And so that's when I knew it was game day. It was race time. And I was just thinking, when I wake up and I feel like I'm just like a caged animal, gosh, that's when I'm really excited to just follow this systematic process. And I find that on race days, it's just like this pressure cooker. I love the anticipation, building and building and building, because what I used to do was I used to get over aroused in terms of arousal levels, is like kind of mentally, you can lift your arousal levels through music or getting too amped up too far in advance. And I find when it's early in the morning and it's just calm and I'm listening to music that I can still think and I'm not over arousing, that it's just like the slow build, building pressure, building pressure, building pressure. And then what usually fuels me the most is when I look at the people that are there with me and I think about maybe the people that believe in me most and that want me to succeed, and I like say goodbye to them, and I just get ready to go into my mental dungeon.
Which is a very, very intense place for
Yeah.
you. Which is quite interesting because we've had like a few comments just like in the recent weeks of like how Cal gets really intense when it comes to racing and stuff. And obviously like it's not a negative thing. And he uses it to his advantage, which is why I don't have a problem with it. But it's quite interesting how some people can take it as too much. It's too much. What you're doing is too much. And it's like, if you don't do that, how are you going to run a 2:55 marathon for your first marathon? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Like, your intensity is there for a reason, and it helps you achieve the goals that you put in place. And I think that's what I respect about you, is that you have this intensity. And obviously I've come to learn over the years that when you are in a competition and you're ready to race, I just need to leave you alone. And you just need to do your own thing. Why are you laughing?
Because I've told you this before, and it's like, it scares me sometimes. It scares me, my own intensity, and scares me because I've told you, and I look you in the eyes, and like, it's just like, get out of my way. Like, get out of my way is how I feel internally.
Yeah.
And it's not like, and it's weird. It's just like this dichotomy, because it's when it's like I flip a switch.
Yeah.
I flip a switch, and when it's like, when it matters, it matters. And I think this goes down to like when I was a child on the playground. Like, are we playing for fun, or are we playing for keeps? Like, are we, like, does it matter or not? And I just think that that's always how I've operated. And some people are just like trying to cruise on this like enjoyment train. And I've never been like that. It's like, I'm going to literally do whatever it takes, and you better get out of my way.
Yeah. But that's because you had such an ambitious goal. I'm sure maybe one day, maybe you will run a marathon, and it will be just for fun.
100%.
At a chill pace. Maybe it would just be to pace me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a time and a place for that. But anyways, Cal just gets into this very intense headspace. So the weekend was great. And the morning of the race, obviously you're feeling these, just like you were obviously getting in the zone, getting ready. And you achieved your goal, 2:55.
Well, so, yeah, and can you kind of talk about when I left you guys, because you guys were going to start like 5-10 minutes after me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see you from there. Like, what was your thoughts going into, because that was exactly what I was thinking going into, like, when the gun went off, was it's just like time to prove to yourself.
Yeah.
So what were you thinking?
I also thought the same thing. Well, I had the intention of possibly finishing at 4 hours. I started running with the 4-hour pacer group and felt like it was challenging, but in my head I was like, I can just hold on. Like, I can just hold on, and maybe this could happen. Keep in mind, the 4-hour pacer was probably running a 5:30 kilometer ish.
And what is a 4-hour pace? Is it at 5:30?
Yeah. Is that not what I just said?
Oh, no, I thought you were saying that they were running faster than what it was supposed to be.
Oh, I think they were, to be honest with you, because I remember looking at my splits. Some of them were 5:15, 5:20. I was like, this is quite fast. Like, I was planning on running like a 5:40, and I was holding on. And then I got to about 19 kilometers, looked down at my watch. I was still kind of with the 4-hour pacers. And I was like, damn, like 2 hours is coming up, and 2:05 is like my half marathon PB. And like, maybe I could PB. So I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, okay, I have like a couple of kilometers left. I can definitely PB if I just keep this pace. And I ran just the tiniest bit faster than what I was running. I think I was running maybe even like 5:20 by the like kilometer 21 ish, and I PB'd my half marathon, and I felt great. But when it came to that point, I was like, there's no way I could hold this pace that I was running for another 21 and a half kilometers. Like, there's just no way. So to be fair, I did PB my 10K and my half marathon. But I did kind of hit a wall after I did that, because I think I ran just a bit too fast, a bit too early.
Or do you think you're mentally sabotaged yourself too as well?
No, like, I don't think I did. I think...
Do you think just, this is a great question for you, is do you think internally you gave yourself the avenue to PR your half marathon because you were somewhat worried that would have been not enough. Like if you didn't go for that, then you wouldn't have even gotten a good, like a small win out of the whole race.
Yeah, definitely. I told myself
Yeah.
I'm going to get a sub 2 hour half marathon, and if I don't, like, I'm going to be really upset with myself, because before that I realized I'm not going to hit a 4-hour marathon.
Yeah.
Like 15K, and I was like, there's no way I can do a 4-hour marathon. I'm just not there yet. I'm simply just not at the fitness level yet to
Which is
run
unfortunate because
Yeah.
being in that mindset is really challenging because
Yeah.
you didn't believe in yourself.
No, I did at first.
But at 15K, and I think you
Yeah.
you can't ever do that.
Yeah, I know.
And we need to keep working that.
I know. It was just like my legs couldn't
Yeah.
carry, like, just the
And
you
that's
know
okay.
you know the feeling of wanting to give up.
Yes. You were feeling that
I felt
at
like
15.
that at 15K,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's too early to feel that. I should be feeling that at 30K, right? So yeah, but I was happy with that. So then I kind of gave myself an excuse to, okay, scale down a bit. I will be happy with a 4:15 marathon. And then basically I ran the rest of the race at a more chill pace, not with intention. Like, obviously I kind of cooked myself at the very end of those last, like, up until like kilometer 21. But yeah, I guess I hit a wall around 26 kilometers, which is funny because a lot of people say, oh, you hit a wall at like 30, 35. 35, I was like hurting, but the wall hit me at 26. And it was a tough second half of the race. I will say I was like battling these mental thoughts. I just kept telling myself, keep going, like, keep going. I was taking the gels every 30 minutes, like I said I was going to, but then every time I took the gel, I felt like it wasn't working. Like, do you know when your body just needs more?
It means it was too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were taking your gels too late.
I felt like it was like this constant catch-up thing where I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the gel. I didn't feel the gel. Oh, I feel like my muscles are giving up on me. Like, and then, yeah, I hit like 34 kilometers maybe, and I took out this gel that I had been saving for a rainy day. The Science of Sport Beta Fuel 200 milligram caffeine with nootropics gel that I've never taken in my life.
Man, we need people to see a picture of this gel. It looks like it would put you
It tastes
on
like
a jet.
shit, by the way.
It would put
Did
you on a
take it?
jetpack. I've not taken this
It
yet.
tasted
I bought
like
it.
shit. I threw up in my mouth twice. It was so bad. However, it fucking helped me so much to the point where, like, I finished the race and I finished it strong.
We gotta pin that. We gotta pin that gel to the.
When I tell you, I would not have finished the race
to the cork board
without that gel. Like, I wouldn't have finished the race.
Wow.
Did you stop at all?
That's like free speed. Well, yeah. I mean, I want to do the whole.
Okay,
the whole
so let me
debrief.
just
Yeah, you
finish mine then. So yeah, I hit maybe kilometer like 28. I was starting to feel little niggles, and my quads were super, super sore. My ankles were hurting, and honestly, the worst part for me was the bottom of my feet. The bottom of my feet felt like I had just been running barefoot for like 30 kilometers, and it shouldn't feel that way. And I don't know, it was definitely the shoes. Obviously, they're carbon and more stiff than what I was running in to train in, but I just felt the impacts of it like way too early. Like, it was maybe 15K, and I was like, ow, my feet are hurting so bad, to the point where I took like 4 Advil during the race, and it helped a lot. And I will definitely say that's a hack. Like, if you have a painkiller and you feel pain, definitely take it. But I took one like even before I started to feel the pain, because I knew it was going to come. Definitely don't wait until it's too late, because then you're just going to be feeling pain. But I put a few painkillers in my thing, in my little running pouch. And yeah, I didn't listen to music for the first 21 and a half kilometers. And the main reason for this was because I wanted to prove to myself that I didn't need music to help me. But then it was so interesting, because then when I put the music in, after that, I was like, this is like a treat. Like, this is literally like a treat. And it helped me so much to get through the second half of the race. So if you are planning on running a marathon soon, honestly, like, that saved me. It was just like, treat the first half as just like an enjoyment. Just listen to the feet of people slapping their feet on the ground. Wait, did that make sense? Listen to the sound of people hitting the pavement with their shoes. Just listen to the sound of people breathing heavy. Just enjoy running for what it is. And then if you really need to, put your music in. And that's what I did. And yeah, that really helped me. But I will say I did have to stop a few times just to stretch out my glutes. They were getting super, super tight. My calves started to hurt. You just feel these pains that you've never felt in your life start to flare up. And it's so crazy. But you finish that race and you think, holy fucking shit, I just fucking ran a marathon. Like, never in my life did I ever think that I would ever run a fucking marathon.
The thing about pain that I noticed was I was in so much pain, like my lower body was in so much pain just like hitting those paces that like my quads and my ankle, which is my ankle for some reason, like this tendon was just getting just destroyed behind my right ankle. And I felt it just really aggravated around, I think like 15K. And when I was doing just a body check-in, like I always kind of am checking out like what's feeling good, what's feeling bad. Like, am I cruising?
Like during the race.
During the race, I'm
like
always
you're mentally checking in with yourself.
I'm always having these check-ins, just like stay consistent as I can, but then also like just what am I feeling? What am I feeling? Like make sure I'm not overstriding, doing the wrong things. And I felt this thing in my heel. And what's so bizarre is I never felt it again. And then when I finished the race, it was like some of the most excruciating pain. And then it's been like 5 days since, and I still feel it. And it's amazing how your mind can just shut off certain things when you've already, like, I had already bought in.
I had a similar thing happen. So I started the race. Everything felt fine. Keep in mind, leading up to the race in all my training, I had on and off like calf niggles, but nothing really major with my knee. So I found it very interesting when I started running and I was 7 kilometers in and my right knee just started hurting. And I said, oh my God, there's no way that I'm 7K and my knee hurts. I haven't had knee pain in months. Because I've just been focusing on, stretching, proper form, everything. And yeah, it's crazy when you tell yourself that you're not allowed to feel it. And I took an Advil. Maybe that's why the pain went away. But I don't think it did, because I seriously didn't feel like the aggravating like knee pain anymore. And I think it was just either because my body just eased into it after 7K. When you start running and like you might feel something and it will warm up. I think maybe either that happened, or I just told myself, no, you're not allowed to feel the knee pain today.
And adrenaline is so powerful.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what I tapped into the most in terms of anything on race day. And I want to just start from the beginning. So the first 6-7K, my plan was to take a gel every 10 minutes. And I would think this is...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think this is what did me so well and what did you a little dirty.
Yeah.
Was I took my first gel at 10 minutes, which was like 2.5K for me. So 2.5K in, I took a gel. And then at 20 minutes. And then at 30 minutes. I took 3 gels before I had like looped back around. Mm-hmm. So it was about 8K, like this little mini loop back to the start line. And then it was, I want to say 34K of a second loop. And my plan was to drink this mixture of cranberry juice and rise hydration and water in a soft flask, a 450 milliliter soft flask, and take gels every 10 minutes until 30 minutes. And then I would not take my next gel until 60 minutes. So I had a bit of a little break to absorb all the carbohydrates, but I was going to get a second bottle. And so I had just planned this right before the race, where when I came back past the start line, I was going to get rid of, I was going to drink as much as the first bottle as I could, which is like 450 mils of this solution, this cranberry hydration and water solution, and then get a new bottle. And that actually saved my life. And the reason I say this is every aid station, I didn't even stop to get anything from an aid station until after I was coming over the bridge for the first time. And I would have been around 21K, around 20Ks in, 20 to 21, just before the half marathon mark. I realized I was running lower on my bottle that I was running with, and I was just going to start taking a little bit of water with the gels just to give myself a little bit more fluids. But had I not had two 450 mils of liquid that I was running with and carrying and got almost all of that into me on top of the gels I was taking, I would have been so thirsty, so dehydrated, and not been getting enough water just from the cups on the side. And I want anyone who's a bigger athlete or someone who knows that they sweat a lot to know that if you want to run a fast marathon, you need to have soft flasks and you need to run with them, period. And I believe in that. I truly believe in that, because the water, the on-course hydration is just not good enough. It's not enough. I think there was a hydration station every 7Ks. I remember by the time I would get to a hydration station, even with a bottle, I was just like, man, this is not even close to enough. And meanwhile, you're buzzing through there at race pace. So it's not like you're just like taking a stop and double fisting a couple drinks, right? So
I will say, yeah, the water stations were super far apart,
yeah.
and I had to stop every time. I was so
Yeah.
thirsty.
Yeah.
The sun came out, and it was quite warm. Like, obviously, it wasn't warm, but because I was running at such a high intensity, I was hot. So, yeah, just it wasn't enough. If I had a running vest that I had my own water in, I would definitely benefit from it. But I will say, it was the first like long run that I've raced in without a vest. And I enjoyed the feeling of not having my chest so
so hot and
compressed.
sweaty.
Yeah.
So I came around 8K and I was pushing the pace. I knew I was pushing the pace, but I also was right where I wanted to be, which was around 4:05 pace, because I knew going into it, most marathons are like 200 meters long, and I knew I needed to be under race pace, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to just like make it up in the last 5K or 8K just from my training and how it had gone. I knew if I wanted a chance, I needed to be a little bit more aggressive on the front end of the marathon. So I pick up the new bottle around 8K, and I'm just riding with this group that's running around 4:08s to 4:05s.
And this was with Joanna.
No, not yet.
Okay.
She's still in front of me. So we get about to 14Ks, which is out on the highway now, and we turn onto the highway, and I just remember that's when I kind of started to sink in, like this isn't going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Was because I was running almost 420 pace into a headwind, and I was tucked in behind like a group of 3 people. And I'm a bigger runner, so the headwind was not advantageous to me at all. But running into the headwind, and I was running like 420 pace for like a few hundred meters stretch, and I just remember like thinking, okay, like this isn't going to be easy, because now I need to be more calculated. I need to just be more smart about it. And then we flip around where it turned around. It was around 15K, and we started running in the tailwind. And then I had some life back into me. And that's when I caught Joanna, who came second in High Rocks World Championships, was coming down the highway towards the bridge on the way out. Around 15.5K, I was just pounding 405s, 404s, like 4-minute Ks. I was pushing a little harder than I probably needed to be. And maybe that's what cost me the time at the end when I slowed down. But I felt really smooth and I was flowing and the wind was at my back and I was just rocking with it. And once I caught her, it gave me a lot of motivation to just stay with her, because I felt, just knowing in general, like the Boston Marathon cutoff times, women run marathons usually a lot slower relative to the men. So like, for example, the men cutoff time for the Boston Marathon's 3 hours, or now it's 2:55. For women, it was 3.5 hours, and now it's 3:25. So I thought, Joanna is like the top of women's athletics. I'll ride with her. I'll stick with her, and we'll see what happens. And like, kudos to her. She's a fucking savage athlete.
Yeah.
And
insane.
And I think she's taller than me too.
I'm pretty sure the day after the marathon, she was working out
Yeah.
again. Like nothing happened.
And so I was beside her from about 15K to about 30K. So all the way out, all the way coming back in, almost coming back over the bridge. And we were holding like 405 pace, and she was just so fluid.
Yeah.
Like, she was not drinking, not as like she was just cruising. And I kind of realized that I wasn't going to be able to maintain that 405 pace. So I had then like slotted in behind her, started holding like 410s and 415s, and it felt in control. And I come over the bridge, I'm start coming down, and we're into the last 9Ks, and I'm starting to think like we're getting into the last little part, and I'm thinking the pain cave is it's coming. It's coming, and it's just a matter of time.
You haven't even hit the pain cave yet.
No.
I hit mine so early.
I was around 30. I was coming down the bridge, and I remember like, oh, it's getting a little hot, but like I still have, like, I'm still in control. And that felt good. I was running like 415s, 410s, and I felt really good. And then we join in with the half marathoners. And man, was that such a slap in the face. I actually hated that.
Me too.
And when I think about it, I hated it. And the reason I say it was because
it just clogged
it
up
everything. And the marathon until then was just an open road.
Yeah.
And the where I joined in, the people were running slower than me, so I had to bob and weave. And it was just like, why am I bobbing and weaving when like it just doesn't need to be this way? And I still remember like just I was going about a K, it would have been around 34, 35K, and I keep telling everybody this. I felt something shoot down my right glute into my hamstring, and I just knew right away it was a cramp. Like I lifted my right heel up off the ground to push off, and I just went, oh no. Because as soon as that happened, I kind of panicked a little.
Yeah.
And I knew the next 6K, 7K of this race is just preventing this hamstring cramp from shutting me down. And so 3 times between the 35K mark and when I finished, I literally stopped and started stomping my hamstring and my heel into the ground to try and just get rid of this hamstring cramp, where if I lifted my heel ever so slightly, it felt like I was just my whole hamstring was gonna ball up, and I would have like just not been able to make another step. Keep in mind, my quads are already destroyed. I'm 35Ks in, and I'm ahead of pace by had to have been like 3 or 4, 5 seconds per kilometer. And at this point that I felt the hamstring cramp, I told myself I wasn't gonna, I almost told myself I wasn't gonna hit the pace. I had that in my head. I was like, I don't think I'll be able to hit 255 anymore, but I was okay with it because I was still proud of myself for salvaging. And I knew if I finished the race at like a 420 pace or at a 425 or 430 pace, because I had already done the math. I had already done the math beforehand that if I ran the first 35K at a 405 pace, that I could have ran the last 7K at a 445 pace and still broken 3 hours. And I would have been happy to salvage it. And so I finished the last 7K just gritting my teeth, stomping out my right hamstring as much as I could. And sometimes I touched 430Ks. And when I went back into the Strava data to look at it, like my slowest kilometer would have been like 420s. And I still finished the last K and a half at like a 4 minute pace. And I finished the marathon in 2 hours and 55 minutes and 51 seconds. And normally old me would have been, the first thought would have been, fuck, 51 seconds. Like, gosh, like how disappointing. But I was just so proud and so happy with how I had finished given the circumstance of those last 7Ks. And like, I was so happy with how when I went into that marathon that I had been dealing with all these niggles and I finished that close, and still like a sub 3 hour marathon is just an extremely difficult as it is. So I mean, that's where the story ends.
Yeah.
Is my body was broken. I could barely move.
We were in the worst pain of our lives the rest of that day and the following day. We literally, it was the worst pain I've ever felt. And it's crazy because now I'm like, oh, perfectly fine. Obviously, I'm a little bit still sore in just like specific spots, like my left like side glute is super like sore, and my ankle is a bit sore, and my quads still, when I try to squat, I just feel like almost like this lactic feeling in my quads that's like really burning the muscle. Other than that though, we're fine. And it's like how many days now?
It's only been
4
5 days.
5
Yeah,
days?
4 days, 4.5 days. And one of the last thing I want to say with my just marathon story was Joanna, who I was running with, who, kudos to her, was fitter than me. Like she was fitter than me. And I always say, like, when I do a race and I accept someone was better than me, then I accept it, and like, kudos, you beat me. She finished it in 2 hours, 52 minutes, and I want to say 41 or 40 something. So in my head, like, even in my best case scenario, I would have finished the race maybe 253 somewhere. And even with the things that had happened, I finished 255.50. So you're talking about 2 minutes and 50 seconds in my best race imaginable. And that's what excites me, is like, that's where my fitness is at today. And that's where we build off of, that's what is just like something that encourages me. Obviously I own